What is going on, everybody? Welcome here today to my NBA 2K19 MyLeague MyGM breakdown of the whole article that released earlier this morning. So we get about one of these every year. I think this is my fourth time making this video, probably with the same title and thumbnail, but or not the same thumbnail, but like probably similar title. I've done this in 2K16, 2K17, 2K18, and now 2K19. I'm very excited to go into this. I've already read this, but I'm going to kind of show you guys everything that's in this article and read everything and just kind of show you guys what's new in my league, in my GM, create a player, all of that in 2K19. So if you guys are hyped for this as I am, let's see if we can maybe just hit 1,000 likes on this video. Drop a like if you guys are enjoying the content, and I appreciate everyone that is subbed. We're almost at 170,000 subs, 170,000. I appreciate it so much. So let's get into this article today. So you can see I've made this in 2K16, 2K17, and 2K18. So we're pretty much just hitting it up once again with another one. So we can start today in this article, and it goes NBA 2K19, MyLeague MyGM, create a player, blog, and interview with senior producer Eric Bonish. I'm probably butchering his name. I'm just going to call Brian and Eric, all right? I'm not going to go into this anymore of their last names because I know I'm going to butcher them. So they start off with MyLeague Online. Now, I'm not the biggest MyLeague Online fanatic. I didn't really play it. I haven't played MyLeague Online since probably 2K12. Actually sat down and played it with friends. Have not played it since 2K12. And now that I'm in college, it's really I can't play with any friends anymore because nobody has the time to do this, and nor do I even have that many friends that would be dedicated to a MyLeague Online. I could think about doing this with you guys in 2K19. I don't know though. I don't know how far I could keep this up because I'm not a type of person that will be so devoted to this, and I feel like that would just kind of disappoint everybody else in the MyLeague. But yeah, they've added bunch of things. I didn't know much about the keeper design in 2K18, but that's gone. They have full contracts, so I guess that means contracts weren't permanent in MyLeague Online, which kind of seems odd in 2K18. What I also like, this means you will now have a live real-time free agency period with all your other GMs in your league, which I think is super dope. That is honestly really cool, having a real life free agency where people, I guess, can bid after each other. I'm not sure. During the course of each in-game day, you'll get notifications in your ticker when a player receives an offer from another team. How do you react? Is this your player? How do you react if this is a player you are also targeting but yet have made an offer? Should you make your offer now? Do you wait? Do you come at a higher price? Or perhaps you already have an offer in play on the player. Should you go back and raise your offer? These are thoughts that will race through the heads as you live the real life of an NBA GM, which is super dope. It's just a realistic vibe. Since we are now a real-time full on MyLeague Online mode, you'll have real-time staff setting, real-time NBA draft. So it's basically I think they fixed a lot of things. I'm not the big MyLeague Online guy, like I said, where I could just tell what happened in 2K18, 17. That's different. But now I'm just gonna kind of go through this briefly, and I'm gonna get more into the GM and MyLeague stuff when we get to it. When creating a new MyLeague Online, the admin can choose to have live timers. Live timers will allow you to have experience and completed the offseason in a single setting with short advancement timers for each offseason period. Okay. Yeah, I kind of read this before. I didn't really was too focused on this MyLeague and MyGM stuff. Since this is MyLeague customization is the name of the game, admins can create custom timers for the week. Okay, so yeah, it's not MyLeague GM Online, MyGM Online. I think that'd be cool. I think they'll eventually do that down the line. They'll put if there is a big difference between MyGM and MyLeague, they kind of establish a huge difference from the two. I could see them maybe doing a MyGM Online. I think would be cool. So yeah, offline MyLeague will contract support. Okay, I don't know much. You can honestly, I'm gonna leave the link to the article in the description, so you can go check this out for yourself if you are more interested in the MyLeague Online aspect. Because like I said, I'm not really the biggest. So this is kind of where we get into the actual stuff here. But this is also another MyLeague thing. This information is available at your fingertips no matter where you are in the offseason. Note that this feature is also new for offline MyLeagues, which I'm guessing this is okay, there's a panel for deadline soon. That's new. So I think the whole new layout is different, which makes me so happy because we've had the same goddamn layout for almost 3 years now, and I'm glad to get new menu screens, new different layouts. So apparently that all that stuff in the MyLeague Online is in MyLeague Offline. So the real-time free agency, if that's in there, and you can see other teams kind of bid with you, that is super cool, and realistic MyLeagues are gonna be super fun to do in 2K19. So now here we get into the offline stuff, or this kind of makes more into offline. The customization suits available within MyLeague and MyGym are unarguably one of the strongest elements, blah, 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 blah. With NBA 2K19, we're going to continue to innovate on this front by exposing more game control than any other franchise mode has before. There's a lot here. This is 7,000 words or something before they said. So I'm just going to kind of show you the big thing. So here's trade sliders. So trade sliders and I think contract sliders, completely different, which makes me so happy. So you've seen me complain that it's too easy to get a player, too hard to get a player. a guy like Thon Maker, who's averaged 7.5 points and 3 rebounds in his 4-year rookie contract career, is asking for $19 million in free agency. But apparently we're going to get something new like this where that's not going to happen anymore. And we're going to get a more realistic vibe, which is super... It's honestly probably the biggest flaw, I would say, of 2K18 My League, so I'm ecstatic for this. You can now toggle through each team one at a time, see how they evaluate their player based on the 4 available team states, which I'm guessing is rebuilding, contending, buying, and selling. I guess those are the 4, which is cool. You can adjust the player fame importance slider, so this changes like a team's value in the player's historical contributions name value. So obviously, say like Chris Paul regresses super hard next year, they're still going to be kind of hesitant to trade the dude because it's Chris Paul. Like that, I feel like that's kind of what that is about. Next, we move on to overall rating importance sliders. We'll show you how much team values on their overall players' raw talent. Moving on, you can adjust the discount on trade value for draft and stash players. Think of them like future players, like draft picks. How much of a premium on trade value teams will add for players who were recently signed by them. So like they just went out and they signed DeMarcus Cousins, say next year in free agency. So like the Mavericks signed DeMarcus Cousins, they're gonna be hesitant to trade the dude. Like they were just not gonna want to trade him right away. How much of a premium on trade value teams will add for players on their untouchables list. Yeah, we kind of know about the untouchables. That's been in the game before. You can now adjust the slider for each of the 4 team states that allow you to set their draft pick importance, or rather how much a team values picks for future players. You can completely adjust draft pick depreciation for the next 5 years. So yeah, we now have 5 years of future draft picks. In previous 2K, you could have traded 4. You could trade in 2018, 2019, 2020, 21. But now you can do, starting next year, you can do 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2023. So that's a little bit, it's a small improvement, but it's still, I'll take it. I thought maybe like 6 years would have been cool. This is done to replicate the uncertainty that could be had for future picks. So you could basically trade somebody right now for a 2023 first, and that'll be basically like an 8th grader or something like that in real life. So contract sliders, like with trade sliders, you will start off by selecting a player in the league as a sample player to demonstrate how your slider changes will affect the league as a whole. The player will have 2 values underneath him. The first value is his expected salary, which is kind of what we saw in free agency this year. This is a baseline salary that the player will expect. Then you have his true salary. This is the actual salary worth of the player. Note that this value may be blah, 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 blah. The first set of sliders here allow you to raise or lower both the expected and true salary. So I think like there's going to be people out here that hopefully, like maybe Operation Sports, I don't know if they're big into 2K like sliders and stuff like that, but maybe hopefully you could load in sliders. That would be super convenient if you can load in sliders from this, and then like the 2K, like obviously like Operation Sports or somebody in the community can find out the perfect realistic one, so we kind of don't always have to test them every time we go into a My League. But I think this is cool. Do you think fringe all-star players are asking for too much money? This is your chance to customize all of that to your liking, which is nice. You think low-rated players sign too cheap? No low-rated players sign too cheap. I mean, you might get Wayne Ellington maybe for the minimum or for $2 million a year, but you really see players take the mid-level exception. They took that out of the game. Like, you can no longer sign, like, you were able in the beginning of 2K to sign LeBron on the mid-level exception. Go back to my first rebuild this year, 2K19. My first 2K18 rebuild with the Lakers, I signed LeBron James for $5 million a year, $7 million a year. They took that completely out of the game, which I didn't mind. I mean, it was kind of sick to have. But yeah, there's all new progression sliders, which kind of just helps you progress the player's level. They talk a lot about training, in-season training. I've never been a big fan of training and never really used it to its potential. Maybe I'll give it a shot this year. I'm opening to do it. It's excited. They do kind of talk about it a little bit here. And yeah, so now they have all new created a player feature, which I'm not huge into created a player because I don't play my career a lot. I don't play Park a lot. But yeah, they go into all in depth here. Fully customize the shape, size of the skull. They do so much stuff. I know the big things they added that you can't use tattoos and goggles and face masks, which I think people were a little bit upset about. But yeah, they talk about everything new to create a player, so you can go check that out if you were more interested in that. So now MyGM, the saga continues. Basically, we had the saga, the new MyGM storyline last year. I wasn't a big fan of it just for the fact that they would always talk about auto-generated players, and you cannot load into draft class to have the storyline about those players. And also that in MyGM, you get interrupted every 5 seconds. I think this is everyone's biggest pet peeve with MyGM, that it literally takes an hour to get through one season, when in My League, you can get through an hour in one rebuild, basically. In like a 3-year rebuild, that could take an hour, maybe even a 4-year rebuild, depending how quick you go. You can get done in an hour. But MyGM takes about an hour to get through one season, and that's just if you're constantly on it too. It's a mess, but I think they've added this year that you could just have no cutscenes, which is nice. Yeah, they traditional MyGM experience like in 2K17. I mean, well, you can either do the saga or not, but I'm pretty sure they added where you can not have any cutscenes. Also, this is huge for MyGM. This is a big step for MyGM. A few more quick words with the traditional MyGM, so not the storyline one. You can now start with expansion, customize the league, start in offseason, etc. That is huge, yo. That is huge. That is super exciting. It's much more flexible than you remember. In addition to all this, you can choose a difficulty on the GM. You can make your custom sliders hard, medium, or easy. That is insane. So yeah, they talk about kind of the whole text towers, that's your owner's name, and kind of how it goes, the whole storyline. I'm not going to get into that too much because I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but it just talks about how it is, and you can go read the article if you're that much interested in that. But it's just basically the storyline. They also have a new NBA draft, kind of what it looks like this year. Something they added in the article, I remember them saying, is that kind of there's pre or post pick analysis. So like kind of like when you're watching the draft, you watch the ESPN panel that kind of give their thoughts or their reasoning for the team drafting their player. So it does it here. It kind of says it. I could find it in 1 second. Where is it? Well, here it goes. The star for Oklahoma, Young, has long-term potential to be elite in the current NBA. Size and defensive presence will likely be a concern. So that's pretty much what's big for Trae Young in real life. And I kind of like perhaps the team had an expiring player at the position. So these are reasons that'll say like hopefully what they're saying is here that the draft logic will make a lot more sense. I'm hoping we don't see Rudy Gobert traded for the 3rd overall pick every draft, or Blake Griffin traded for the 2nd pick, Kemba Walker traded for the 4th pick, stuff like that. But yeah, this is apparently the draft AI logic's a lot better. Perhaps the team had an expiring player in a position they don't intend to re-sign, so they drafted the player at that position. Perhaps the player had the best vertical at the combine, and the team couldn't pass up on that, so they just had to draft them, or the longest wingspan. So they say that stuff, I think, in this the new draft, which is huge, huge, huge. Now here is something major. Now, Justin Collins, you guys know about him if you've been on my channel this year. He's made it the historic rosters. He's been the plug. He's made so many custom draft classes, and I hope they paid him to do this. No, I'm kidding. But, yeah, in 2K19, we now have pre-created draft classes for the following drafts. From 1960, 65, 69, 70, 74. So those 5, and then every year from 76 to 2017, they have as much or as many players as they can put in a created draft class. So every player that they have the license to, obviously you won't see like Charles Barkley in here. That's why they don't have like the 61, 62, 63, but they have all these draft classes. And what is big, so like the players like Charles Barkley, whatever draft class he is, I don't know off the top of my head, they can't put him in the thing. You have the option of importing one of these draft classes. Wait, I'm stupid. Where is it? These draft classes will be editable. So basically, anybody in the community can go and throw Charles Barkley in that draft class, so we can download that one, and you'll have all the players. This is huge, 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 huge stuff for like Ultimate Rebuilding Series. Historic rosters this is going to be a big thing for. So yeah, this is dope. This is also big. This is actually probably going to be a little thing like, you know how I'll send a player to the G League or Untapped Potential. This is going to be something I'm going to do if I have it in my rebuilds too. Player mentorship. So basically, you can set a player. You do this personally. It's not like the 2K does this. Well, they'll randomly do this. You could set one of your young players a mentor on your team. So like it says, like you can assign JJ Redick to be Joel Embiid's mentor, but it's not going to be as good. He's not going to get the same badges. It all upgrades their badges. Like obviously, Joel Embiid's not going to get the whatever sharpshooter badge. He's going to want to work on like his big man stuff. That's why they kind of show like if you do a guy like Lonzo Ball and assign Rajon Rondo to be his mentor, you can selectively ask Rondo to start teaching ball how to earn the ankle breaker badge, lob city passer badge, or the pick and pocket badge. You get the idea. So yeah, this is super dope that you can add LeBron James to be Brandon Ingram's mentor, or you can do this for so many different teams. It's super cool, and I'm super excited for this draft. Like it's literally, I'm trying to think some off the top of my head, like this new draft. Like you could do Tyson Chandler and DeAndre Ayton. I think that would be a pretty good mentorship. You could do kind of, you can't really do Dirk with Doncic. I mean, you could do Wesley Matthews with Doncic. They would kind of maybe have similar badges. I'm not sure in the game, but you kind of get what I mean. You can do Davis with Julius Randle. I don't know, but yeah, you can kind of see the point of this. It's really going to be super cool in this game. You can do Beverly and Teodosic to Shai Gilgeous. That's going to be very cool. Now, there's trade player exceptions. Now, this just talks about how when you make a trade, there's kind of here. So a recent real world example of this exception in action is when the Pistons traded for Blake Griffin in January. It's basically they took in so much more salary than they gave up in the Bradley and Harris, and they took in Blake's huge deal. They created a $7 million trade exception for a year, so they just have $7 million that doesn't bother with their cap space that they can use to take back in salary in a trade. So say they have $8 million in cap, they can make a trade where they're taking back $15 million cap because they have that $7 million trade exception in the works. So that's something cool. It's kind of a new realistic format. It's just another dose of realism that you can add to this. They also added the new all-star format with the draft picks, which I think is super cool. And if you don't like this, you can go to rule changes and you could change it back to the old one, which I think is super dope. They've added a new summer league, which is just basically the game format. I'm not gonna be playing this too much, but I think it's a cool little addition. G League is the same thing. You can't play the G League. It's apparently got a little more integration, it says, but you can't play the games, so it's not huge in that aspect, but obviously you can develop your players through there. Injury history menu, so you can view every player's history and everything that's happened to them. And now you can track your draft picks. So now, like, past the trade deadline or, like, in the first start of the offseason, you can see your draft picks. You don't have to go to the trade finder or the proposed trade and then look at your draft picks. So you can do this whenever you want. So it's its own menu screen is the draft pick trading, which I think is very convenient to have. You could choose your own rule changes. So they kind of have new ones. There was one really cool new one where you can have the playoff seeding to get rid of conferences. It's not 1-8, 2-7, 3-6, 5-4 in the conferences. You could do a whole 16 best teams. So 8 teams from each conference make the playoffs, and it's a 1-16 format. So you have 1-16, 2-15, 3-14. You get the gist, which I think is super cool. And another one you could do is, I think, is also insanely cool for the draft lottery. So you have your playoffs going on right now, but for the draft lottery, you can have a tournament for the 14 teams that didn't make the playoffs. You can have them play in a 14-team tournament to see who gets the number 1 overall pick. They play for 1 and 2. If you win the tournament, you get 1. If you lose in the final game, you get picked 2. But then everything after that goes to based on record. So you have to say you have the 3rd worst record, but you get bounced in the first round of the playoffs, you're still going to get the 3rd pick. So it all matters for the 1st and 2nd. Well, actually, no. So say the 13th and 14th best teams win the lottery for the number 1 pick, and then 1 will go to 3. Whoever was supposed to have 2 goes to 4, and then 3 goes to 5. So it's interesting. Say you were a really good team and you just missed out on the playoffs, you still have a great chance at getting the number 1 pick through the tournament, which I think is dope. Also, the first 3 picks have the same chance at the lottery odds, so that's the updated draft lottery, which I think is really cool. Player DNA is kind of a created player thing, not more in that for me. They kind of talk about how it's now 5 years of draft picks, not 4. You can now set who you want to win MVP on the fly lineups for kind of just like random games, like against teams that you do better against, teams that you kind of want to have like a small ball lineup or want to have a full defensive lineup, like stuff like that. You can kind of do that. So yeah, that is pretty much it. I try to not make this a super long video. It's going to be probably around 20 minutes, but yeah, I didn't want to like kind of read the whole article to you, but I'm going to leave the article in the description. You guys can check that out. I want you guys to let me know in the comments what you're super excited or what you're even excited about from my league. I think this is good. I'm content with all this. I could have maybe, yes, a little bit more would have been cool, but I'm glad we didn't get a little bit less. I'm kind of glad what we got, and I'm really excited. I wish there was a couple other things they've added. Like, I wish you could actually play in the G League. That would have been cool. I wish there was an option where you could trade injured players. I think that would have been really cool. There's some other stuff that I kind of wish, but I love the contract signing sliders, the trading sliders to make it more realistic, the AI logic when they draft. I'm very excited to see that. GM mode, you can now start in the offseason. You can do expansion teams in GM, which is super cool. Real life free agency, real time drama of a live free agency. That is super cool. They redid MyLeague Online. They've added so many things that if you love MyLeague Online, which I know part of the community does, this is huge. So yeah, I think this is very good. I'm very excited to see what they do this year. And yeah, so I will also be playing, I think, my team this year. I don't know if I'll be playing my career, but I'll be doing my team. Probably a little bit of MyGM, and then obviously my league. So yeah, that'll be it for me. Thank you all for watching. Hope you guys enjoy it. Like I said, if you want to let me know what you guys think of this in the comment section below, we can kind of start like talking about that, like our own forum page in the comments. So yeah, that'd be pretty cool. So yeah, just drop a like if you guys did enjoy the video. I'm super excited. You'll guys see a rebuild tomorrow, and yeah, I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Peace.